I know the woman that I was when I got married, which was 24 initially. I am not that woman today. And when I got married the second time, which was in my late 30s, early, almost 40, but like maybe 38-ish or something like that, I was very much driven by your biological clock is ticking. And that was the narrative that my parents were giving me. Like, hey, if you want to have kids, you need to hurry up and do it now. And so there... And I feel like an expert on this since I had 2 husbands. I'm gonna let you sit with that for a minute. So, talking with some friends today around this notion of dating after the divorce, and I think there's a common thread among men and women that all the good ones are gone, right? And especially if you've been in a marriage for 10 plus years, you feel like you've been out of the game for quite some time, right? And the way that dating was when you were in is completely different than it is now. Kinda. I think some of the mechanisms that we use, of course, for my generation, we didn't have online dating, but that's a real thing, and people actually really find love on there. But, sometimes people are skeptical as to whether or not they'll be catfished on there or, are people really who they say they are? We also used to have these social settings, house parties and clubs and that type of thing, where we would go, at least in my generation, to meet people. That's kind of changed now. You don't see people going out to clubs as much as they used to, especially if you're a little bit older. So the question is, how do you date after divorce? And what is really your motivation for dating after divorce? I want to tackle that second part first. What's the motivation for dating after divorce? I have noticed with several of my clients and a few of my friends, both men and women, that they were so kind of disappointed and surprised that their marriage didn't have a 60-year stint until death do us part. Because most of us, in fact, I don't think anybody really gets married to get divorced, right? So in a lot of ways, we're believing that this is going to be a forever after type thing. So when it doesn't happen, of course, we are disappointed. So then the question becomes, what do we do with ourselves now that did not work? For a lot of people, I'm finding men and women alike are worried about being alone the rest of their life. I hear women so often, just afraid that they will die in their home and no one will know. Once your kids are gone, they're grown, and it's just you. Who's going to know if I get sick or I fall down the steps? For men, what I hear is, I do, again, what if I get sick? I need somebody to support me. I need someone to help me. And so that drives this decision to jump right back in to the dating game. I've noticed people really being swift instead of really biding their time and really doing a reset on the type of partner that they want. It is invaluable to spend some time resetting yourself. I know the woman that I was when I got married, which was 24 initially. I am not that woman today. And when I got married the second time, which was in my late 30s, early, almost 40, but like maybe 38-ish or something like that, I was very much driven by your biological clock is ticking. And that was the narrative that my parents were giving me. Like, hey, if you want to have kids, you need to hurry up and do it now. And so there was this drive to, oh boy, this scarcity mindset that I better get myself back out there and I got to find someone and I got to make sure that they're the right one. Well, that mindset in and of itself is codependent and will drive you to make some, very interesting decisions. I've seen recently with some friends who, a friend of mine who got divorced, she really didn't want to get divorced, but the man did want to get divorced. And, she's raising a child, co-parenting, it's fully co-parenting level set. But she's, this idea that she might be perceived as flawed. And so she's put herself back out there and now gotten herself into a relationship I don't think it quite fits, but he was there, he was available, and he presents well in terms of being a provider and, helping her out and, but I don't think that she really took the time to really understand who she is now at like 45. Because that younger woman was looking for something else. A lot of times we use romantic love to guide whether or not we should get married the first time. And then that second time we enter into the state of, I need security. I need to make sure that financially I'm set. Now I have to foot all the bills myself. And I don't know if I can do it. It's tough to do it. Well, it is tough, but you're built for it. It's not reason enough to jump into a relationship that may drain you more than it deposits into you, right? The other thing that I've seen is, especially with some men, is they take the Marcus road. You know Marcus, the guy who is running through as many women as he possibly can. And there are a lot of guys that idolize Marcus because seemingly he had no attachments. He just had swag and money, and he was taking care of himself, and any woman who was going to be with him was going to be solely focused on him. But as you know, in the movie Boomerang, what Eddie Murphy's character ended up finding out is a lot of those relationships were not very substantive. They really didn't provide the love, the security, or the companionship that he really truly longed for. And the only way that you can get at that is spending some time with yourself to figure out who you are at this stage. Then you need to get yourself out there and actually date. I find that some women are kind of like, they're just waiting for that one and done, but it doesn't work like that. You've got to get yourself out there. You actually do need to date a few different types of people to see what really works for you, to see, how that man shows up in his character, and to see what really fits for your lifestyle right now. You'll find that for some women, they really are just looking for companionship now. They don't necessarily want somebody that's going to live with them. Because for a lot of women, we tend to take on the role of being a caregiver and prioritizing someone else over our own needs. But they would like to be in a relationship where they have a trusted companion and they can build a relationship. That works, but you will only know that if you spend the time getting to know yourself. So one of the things I'm going to invite you to do is to click the link below. That's where you're going to find my free codependency quiz. And in that quiz, which is only going to take you about 3 to 5 minutes to take, you're going to get a chance to see whether or not some of the codependent beliefs, ideology, and mindset is driving some of your decisions to date now. Once you do that, I want to invite you to come on over and get into my Conquer Codependency Bootcamp, where I personally am going to coach you through taking this next step in your life. It's an important step, and it's a step where you are going to be redefining who you are as a woman or a man. All right, so I'm Tracey Knight. I'm your codependency coach. And before we go, I want to remind you that today is the day that we take back, transform, and begin to win at the game called life. I'll see you soon. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and then share it with some of your friends. This is important because we don't want to just let this rich conversation just sit here with us. So be sure to subscribe and then share it out with some of your friends. I hope to see you on the next episode.